Okay, and this is part two. I accidentally got out. I accidentally cut the video off, but this is part two. All right, let's stay focused. Okay, all right. I'm at. Let you know again. I'm at poverty point. I'm gonna cut. Keep it. I'm gonna have to use it real sharp. Be real sharp today. As I said before in the last video, this is 1700 BC to 1100 BC when it was occupied. It was built and occupied. This site is often considered to be the New York City of its day because it appears to have been so much more elaborate and sophisticated than anything else that was happening in North America at the time. So also, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Bobby Hemming was saying how the orange mud or the orange dirt, it goes all the way across to Kemet, or some people would know it as, a lot of people know it as Egypt. So, and it goes to, this dirt is here in Louisiana, it's in Georgia, a lot of it, and it goes all the way through, South Carolina. So if it's South Carolina, it goes into Egypt. So if all that was connected at one point in time. So that's why I say when all this shit was connected, the continents and shit was connected, and that shit broke apart. This is all connected from one spot. You know what I'm saying? So if it was all connected at one spot, then we got to put all the books that was in all different continents back together. So it's just like putting your mind back together. If it's in fragments, if we're only using 10%, we'll get the rest of the 90%. Okay, now see, look. Now this just goes to show you what I was just saying. Look how they say, oh, they traveled. Well, how did they travel? It was already together. All right, let's keep it moving. The people of Poverty Point were the ancestors of modern American Indians, Aboriginal people, dark-skinned, melanated people. But people lived in North America long before Poverty Point. How and when did the first American Indians arrive on the continent? For many years, archaeologists through the Clovis culture was the oldest in the Americas. Clovis sites date to about 1100 BC. They have distinctive stone points that are found with the bones of extinct animals, especially mammoths. Mammoths like oversized elephants. Genetic studies show that American Indians descended from the people of Northeast Asia. Based on the rate of genetic change, the two groups may have separated about 23,000 BC. Excuse me. Most scientists think people moved from Asia to the Americas by an inland path or by a coastal path. One route is from Northeast Asia across the Bering Land Bridge and through an ice-free corridor. The other route is along the west coast of North America. The timing of the earliest migration into America remains unsettled, but one thing is clear: the peopling of America didn't happen in a single migration event. Multiple groups, all descended from the Northeast Asian population, moved into this new land at different times. As you see, they're trying to show you from Siberia, but it looks like that's connected at one point in time. So if we know that our people was in Tibet or in Asia, period, then what would say dark melanated people? So what would say that they wasn't visiting family if it was all connected? They would have been separated at one point. When you have categories, you separate yourself from what you are. Poverty Point has long been known for its rich cultural heritage. Years of conservation, preservation, and archaeological research and interpretive development resulted in the 2014 designation of the monumental earthworks of Poverty Point as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The World Heritage List records the world's most remarkable properties, both cultural and natural, that are significant to all humanity. The site includes a massive earthen complex with 6 mounds. 6 mounds? Oh, 6 mounds. 6 concentric C-shaped ridges, and an expansive plaza. Poverty Point, built roughly 3,500 years ago, remained unmatched in the U.S. in size and complexity for nearly 2,000 years. So they saying 2,000 years. They saying when A.D. or before the Christos left here. So what does that tell you, man? They keep shit in books and they keep shit backwards. If shit is backwards, then it is a lie, man. In addition to its impressive size and unique design, the site is outstanding because of its widespread trade network and variety of artifacts, all created by a community of hunter-gatherers. We invite you to explore the monumental earthworks and the artifacts, and I'm not going inside to the museum. May your experience be as unique as the site. European explorers traveled down various waterways around Macon Ridge. However, the area is not actually settled until the early 1800s. The earliest land grants in the area were made through military service warrants to individuals who had seen action during the War of 1812 or other military engagements. By 1837, Philip Guer, or whatever his name is, owned much of the property that would eventually become Poverty Point World Heritage Site. It was probably during his tenure that the property was given the name Poverty Point Plantation. Plantation? Come on, man, you gotta think how they putting this shit together. Poverty Point Plantation. I mean, they were using certain people that probably were already here, confiscated Confederate maps of the area indicate that Poverty Point was abandoned during the Civil War. It eventually returned to farmland and remained so until the state of Louisiana bought the property in 1972 and established Poverty Point as a public park. This site was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1962 and a National Monument in 1988. In 2010, the museum was named Smithsonian Affiliate. They don't put nothing Smithsonian if it ain't worth something. These are some of the artifacts right here. You have arrowheads. They were made as knives, scrapers, and drills. You got red jasper. You see, look, how can the owl be everywhere? Think about that. Our people, we have 360 degrees is the owl. He turns his head around 360 degrees around his body to see everything. So that's why when you have masons with owls, melanated people with original masons, you can find that thousands of years ago. 808 just passed, 8080, it's a deity, okay? Red jasper, pot-belly owls, pendants are a classic Poverty Point artifact. Although few in number, they have been discovered across the South, from Louisiana to Florida. Okay, so the owl is everywhere, showing you that our people are everywhere. Come on, man. So, and I was just saying, like, everything unfolds in front of you on purpose for a reason, and most of us, we just can't understand it until we look at it and really analyze. Now, I remember Bobby Hemming was talking about the Mississippi River was the reflection of the river over in Egypt. You know how it flows upward? It's the same way how it goes from the Gulf, just like them and where the Olmecs were, firmly down south and southwest of this area, La Venta, Mexico. All right, and that's like they had pyramids down there in La Venta, Mexico. But you see, what if the water, the Mississippi River, goes upward? It goes upward. So we got to look at it that way, and look where we at. Poverty Point, right on the river, Mississippi River. Is this America is a reflection of Egypt on the other side, the west. As you go from, they say, like that's why the the Sphinx faces that way to show that it's going to come from the people, the alchemical people. We're alchemized people, or people that's been the mixture of people, melanated people in the U.S. or in the West. Is we're going to rise and see something different. So not rise as in, oh, we're going to take over this place, and nah, it's not like that. It's more mentally a mind. Your mind will rise. So understand when I say that, your mind will rise. This is just physical bodies. You can make your physical body do a lot of shit, but this is just a physical body. So our mind will rise. We're coming from the inner earth. Your body is 70% water. The earth is 70% water. So if you rise, and look, the West, if you're inside your body, the West is your heart. You'll rise to your heart and mind. Man, it's a lot you can look at just from knowing some little things. So I'm gonna go back to read. Poverty Point, estimated, is situated on Macon Ridge, an elevated landform on the western edge of the Mississippi River floodplain. Being located on Macon Ridge means that the site was safe from seasonal floods. It was safe from seasonal floods. And don't in Egypt, they have, man, I'm drawing, they have those floods out there in Egypt now. They do, because they built the Aswad Dam. That's right. They built the Aswad Dam out there to make it flood now. But but read this. Being I'm gonna think about this name. I mean, it might come to me while I'm walking. Being located on the Macon Ridge means that the site was safe from seasonal floods. It remained high and dry even during the Mississippi River's massive flood of 1927. It's crazy. The site's location is also important for the resources that were available year-round for flood, shelter, fuel, tools, and other needs. From the adjacent floodplain, people obtained fish, waterfowl, turtles, and frogs, as well as aquatic plants such as lotus. All right, now that's another one. The lotus. Now, if the river that flows north, it was shaped in a lotus. Like in Egypt, what we call Kemet, the land of the blackface. Kemet, the land of the black people. It says it had such aquatic plants as the lotus and cattail, and it's shaped, and the water is shaped from a high distance. If you look down, as the hawk looks down, as miles away, it looks down. The water is shaped as in the lotus over in Egypt. That flows northward from South Africa all the way up to the top, or North Africa, which is upside down anyway. The ridge had drier habitats where deer, raccoons, rabbits, along with nuts, seeds, and fruits were abundant. Wood for shelter, tool, and fuel needs were locally available. Cane and other plant fibers were used to weave baskets, mats, and other items. Only stone was not readily available. The nearest source of local gravel were located about 25 to 30 miles away, and the people of Poverty Point did not use that rock. But they also developed a long-distance trade network that brought stone, some 78 tons of rocks and minerals to the site from sources that were hundreds of miles away. Wait a minute. Hundreds of miles away. But don't they have in Stony Mountain? Think about this now. Stone Mountain, Georgia, right? Stettertite Schicht. I went. Hold on. I think I still have that. Matter of fact, I do still have it. Etowah Indian Mounds. Damn near the same spot as right here. So these are like little cities or little spots they would go to get certain things. The Arkansas has quartz crystal too also. Near the Mississippi River too. But right here, the Etowah Indian Mounds in Georgia. Crazy. They would go hundreds of miles as they say, they will go hundreds of miles to get certain granite. Crazy. Some of these imported stones were distributed to other sites in the lower Mississippi River Valley that belong to the Poverty Point culture. These sites are thought to be affiliated because they have some distinctive artifact types in common with Poverty Point. Only few of these sites had earthworks, and none were as large and elaborate as Poverty Point. Most were small residences or camps. So if that's the case, this was a meeting point for a lot of these cities or these places. It's crazy. Everything falls together. You can see this site goes all the way around. This is all their land. All their land. You see all these little white, these are all parts of their land, just signifying how far it went. It went way out to where those trees are. I have even more to go to. So I'm gonna cut pause over here. We're going to limited time left. And this is one of the mounds we're going to. I'm just showing you what it looks like from a distance. And it looks pretty tall from this distance. I bet getting up on close of it, being close up on it like that, it gets even, of course, it gets taller. So they got stairs I can walk up on it. So let me just cut across. That's gonna be taking me out of my way going that path. 1639, 639. Real quick, Mound A is one of the biggest Aboriginal earthworks in North America, and it is the largest built by hunter-fisher gatherers. Radiocarbon dates on organic materials from under the mound indicate that it was built sometime after 1400 BC. Mound A is believed to be the last Poverty Point age mound constructed at this site. This is the last one. And they say they get taller and taller because you start somewhere, you end somewhere. So where you end at is showing you, where your highest mine has been at. So we're gonna pause it for a bit. Interesting stuff. Check this out. Mound A has an unusual shape, suggested by some to represent a bird in flight. A bird in flight. The north-south extensions would be the wings, and the eastward extending platform would be the tail. We do not know what this was to the builder's intent, but birds are commonly represented in Poverty Point artifacts. Mound A is not a burial mound. There is no evidence that it served as a platform for buildings like temples or houses. Some archaeologists have suggested that building Mound A has been served to bring together and reinforce social relationships within the Poverty Point community, or to demonstrate the power and wealth of the community to outsiders. Okay, got limited time left, as you see on the side of this mound here. That's one side of the wings. This side right here is the other side of the wings, and back here is the tail. How it comes out like the bird's body. The Phoenix Mound, I made it. This is the Phoenix Mound Brother Bobby Hemming was talking about. I didn't understand it. That's why when a bird rises, I just watched the Phoenix movie, the X-Men movie. I got limited time left, 7 seconds left. This is the Phoenix Mound. I made it. This